Hey guys, I'm Vice. Currently, I am the in-game leader for Andbox and previous in-game leader for Cloud9 Valorant. In this new series presented by AimLab, the official partner of Challengers NA, I'll be breaking down a variety of roles in Valorant. The first role I'll be breaking down is entry fragging. As the in-game leader, it's my responsibility to create the tactics and know more in depth about the maximum value of each role. The entry fragger's primary role is to create space on the site attack. To do this role well, the entry fragger's role should be to clear as many angles as possible, while the rest of the team either provides utility or follows the entry fragger to trade frag. Entry fraggers should understand that they're playing a selfless role, and in doing so they may have rough games. However, if they do not perform the role properly, then it will most likely be a huge detriment to the overall team's performance on the attack half. The best class of agents for entry fragging would be Duelists, due to their aggressive nature of their utility or their kit. Most duelists have some sort of gap closing ability which naturally creates space for the rest of the team. Typically, duelists will use their kit to attack the site, in which case after the attack is successful or unsuccessful, they may not have any more utility, whereas the other agents will still have utility that will be useful in closing out the round in the post-plant situation. In ranking the duelists in entry fragging, I would rank them Jett, Raze, Phoenix, Yoru, and Reyna. I think Jett is the best, mostly because he has a dash ability, which naturally creates space for the rest of the team, as well as the cloud burst. Combined together, this makes for a really good entry fragging role because you can create space pretty safely, also by providing cover with her cloud bursts. I put Raze as second because similar to Jett, she has a gap closing ability with her satchels, but also provides a lot of angle clearing ability with her grenade and also her Roomba. I put Phoenix as third because his kit overall is very good for entry fragging. His curveball can be used to create space by flashing off multiple angles. His molly is very strong for cutting off choke points. Firewall can zone or provide cover, and his ultimate allows him to engage without risk, basically turning it into a 6v5 situation. I placed Yoru at fourth because his teleport is a gap closer and his flash can again create space by pushing off the defenders from multiple angles. He's placed lower because footsteps aren't as useful in an entry situation and his ultimate is better suited for gathering information rather than creating space for his team. I have Reyna last on the ranking because her flash can be disabled more easily compared to Phoenix and Yoru's flashes, and because her other abilities rely on her getting kills, so naturally they are less available for an initial entry situation. Now I'm going to go over the skills that are important to excel in the entry fragging role. The first bucket I'm going to talk about is flicking, tracking, and speed. Good entry fraggers likely will anticipate how the defense is set up, which will usually lead to an important aspect of entry fragging, which is crosshair placement. Flicking is also important for the same reason, clearing multiple positions. I personally like to use Gridshot for this. Tracking is a good tool to train crosshair placement because entry fraggers have to clear multiple positions. Ascent tracking, which is part of the Valorant Combine, would be a great task to use to train tracking. I would also recommend the Haven entry task from the Valorant Combine to help out with your entry fragging. The second bucket I'm going to talk about is cognition and perception. Entry fraggers should envision how they should entry. This includes their routes on their attack, how the defense is set up, and what utility your teammates are throwing for you. This is an underrated but important aspect that differentiates good and great entry fraggers. Another huge aspect correlating with cognition and perception is creating space and capitalizing on the utilities used by your teammates. At a basic level, you can think of cognition as decision making and perception as how quickly to adapt to the given scenario based on new information. And lastly, I'm going to talk about precision. The success of an attack is directly correlated to the entry fragger's first blood success rate. If the entry fragger wins his or her duel, the success of the attack on the site greatly increases, and vice versa. If the entry fragger dies for free, defenders have a big advantage. This one is more self-explanatory. Entry fraggers should naturally be mechanically skilled as they are playing the duelist role, but other factors like cognition and perception contribute to their entry frag success rate. In this round, Andbox Mata displays almost every characteristic of a good entry fragger as he enters onto an A-site attack on split. He creates space by using his raised satchels onto site. His pathing is good because he's clearing the spots and angles that the enemies are likely playing. This is most related to cognition and perception. He understands that he has to entry on a particular timing when Viper Wall is still active to block off Heaven, Omen Smoke is active on screens, and while they are blind by Breach and Omen Flash. This is also related to cognition and perception. From his point of view, he's flicking around and clearing multiple angles with good crosshair placement while communicating to his team about which angles and spots are dangerous and which are not. This is most related to flicking, speed, and tracking. Mata's entry would have been perfect if he could have gotten the entry frag. In the clip, his crosshair and aim is a little off. His precision could have been better. In this round, Asuna does a couple good things, but showcases an example of poor entry fragging. He does a good job creating space by going in first, and uses his utility pretty well. This is related to cognition and perception. He uses his ult to entry into market, creating a low risk to high reward scenario. He uses Firewall to block out the spawn angle, making his entry fragging job less risky while giving his teammates cover. While he does a good job of creating space, he's actually not able to clear many angles. He even runs with his knife out and gets very little value out of his Phoenix ultimate. He's only able to clear market and gain very little information and space for his team while losing his best ability. Flicking, speed, tracking, and precision all become irrelevant because he is caught out by the Sova in this situation. Entry fraggers are suited to players with a more aggressive playstyle who typically seek out the first engagement. For great examples of entry fragging in pro play, check out As Soon As Raze or Tenz's Jet. So that's everything about entry fragging. Which role do you guys want to see next? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like this. By the way, you can download AimLab for free on Steam.